Hi, my name is Darren Checkman. I currently live in Petaluma, but I'm from Los Angeles. And I'm playing at Rooster Run today, my favorite course. This is Golf Smarter, episode 995.
Warming up is just to warm up and be ready to play that day. Practice is usually to improve some skills. I don't want to spend my time doing that when I'm warming up. I want to do things that create confidence, but just to access balance. And I hit some shots with slower tempo, medium tempo, faster tempo, just to see what tempo is functional today. Because some days my body is more tired and I need to calm it down. Other days I'm totally alert and my body is sharp and I can swing faster. So it's a lot of calibration. My warm-up is more about calibrating and getting my body and mind ready for playing the game of golf. It's not about improving skills, and it's not about how I hit it on the range is going to decide how I'm going to hit it on the course. Everybody knows who's played golf long enough. I can hit it extremely well in warm-up, and then I go to the first tee and it's gone. Or the opposite, that I feel not good at all on the range and suddenly it comes together on the course. So it's no indication anyways for what's going to happen. It's about finding my best way to just warm up and create confidence.
Decision making, the key to better, smarter golf with Vision54's Pia Nilsson.
This is Golf Smarter. Sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Pia.
Hi, Fred. Nice to talk to you again.
It's been so great, and we've had this relationship going since 2007, late 2007. You were before episode 100. So here we are approaching 1,000. You were episode 98 and Lynn was 97. And it's just a great honor to have you both appearing on the show and sharing your insights and advice. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. And thanks for all you do for the game here. It's many years of doing it.
Yeah. It's a nice contribution that I feel like I've been able to make. One of the in the earliest show, you said something that not only have I been quoting probably every round of golf that I play with people, but I used it yesterday, and that would be the think box and play box. Although I don't know how I caught it to be the thought box and shot box.
That's okay.
But it kind of works. You can go on either one. I want to, but where am I going with this? So there's a third element to that, the memory box, which I don't remember at all, but I think we should go over it. I think it's something that every golfer needs to understand to help them get into a better mindset before they hit the ball.
Yeah. And as you said, we call it the think box and play box, but it doesn't really matter what words you use as long as you know what the purpose of it is. And it was because we found so many golfers step up over the shot and they're still thinking, preparing, wondering if they have the right club or where's the wind coming from. And we just wanted to make that distinction that before a golf shot, you can think about the target and where you're going and what kind of shot you're going to hit. But you need to be done. You need to have made a decision, and then stepping up and being more athletic and, feel. So it's the separation of preparation and then the performance piece, because in golfers in general, because it hasn't been trained, can be so messy. So it is about the future of the shot, the think box, and then the present when you're actually executing, where no thinking, cognitive thoughts is going to help you. But then for many years, we had that. And then we would also at golf schools and coaching talk about the post-shot reaction, because it's so important how you choose to react to shots for how much confidence you're going to feel and momentum for the round. But it was kind of separate. But then we realized that's kind of silly, because it is three phases to every shot. You have it before a shot, you have it during the shot, and you have the after the shot, how we actually deal with what just happened. So we just decided it's better to put those together. It's the think box, play box, memory box, and that's your routine for every golf shot. And is to explore and find what is best for me to do in those 3 time frames.
Okay, it's perfect explanation. I mean, I want to ask why, but it should be obvious that golfers, amateur golfers especially, need to get a good rhythm pre, during, and post shot. Why? Why is that important?
Well, why it's important, because you have a golf shot and you only have the one golf shot you have is the only golf shot. I mean, you only have one drive off number 1, hopefully. But I mean, every shot is unique. You don't, like a range, I can just hit another one and whatever. You only have one chance. I mean, you have one shot, and they're all so different in our game because I'm on the golf course. It goes from 220 yards to 15-yard pitch shot to a putt. I mean, it's that variability. So you need to actually make a decision for every shot in golf, because every shot you hit during the round is going to be different. So a decision that you commit to needs to be made. And it seems obvious, but many have just skipped that part.
Yeah.
And then of course, golf is a game, and anyone who is going to perform well, it doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, golf, tennis, whatever. While you're performing, you're more athletic. You see the target, or you feel something in your motion. You're no longer preparing. You're actually in the moment. But because in golf, the ball is sitting still, waiting for us, many start overthinking over the ball.
Absolutely.
And so that's why it's so important to figure out, what, I do best when I just feel that calm tempo when I'm over the ball. Or, what, I do best when I just still have an image of the target over the ball. Or, what, I do best when I just sense that constant grip pressure. So you need to figure out what helps me that isn't like working on a swing change, but playing with the swing I got right now and have the best feel or sense for the golf shot.
When I look at a scorecard after the round, and I see the holes that were issues that contributed to a higher score than I had hoped for, I noticed that there's definitely going to be shots in there that aren't exactly what I had hoped to accomplish, but that doesn't bother me. That happens to every golfer at every level. What I see in my scorecard, the higher numbers, it's like I made a bad decision. That's what stands out to me, is like, see, I shouldn't have tried to be a hero on this shot. I should have taken an extra club. I didn't consider the wind. I didn't consider the uphill, downhill, or even how heavy the air is. And I made mistakes at that end.
Yeah. So that's like after the round, it's really good to just have a little reflection time, like in your case there. Like, what is the learning here? Is it that I'm, always go too often to the pin, or my routine before the shot, I don't check the wind enough? I mean, that's where you want to do the reflection after the round. How can I get better at this in the future?
So there's the post-shot routine and the post-round routine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What are the things that we need to think about? I mean, why can't I recognize that in my post-shot routine of like, that was a bad decision?
Well, the thing is that if you start to analyze after every shot, you're going to exhaust yourself.
Good point.
It's just has to be too much. And like, one shot is not a trend. So,
right.
So some players can say, just after the shot, okay, it went in, whatever, in the rough, and, I didn't consider the wind, and then they leave it as such and they move on. So some can do it because they just do it easily, but some gets into this too much analyzing, thinking while you have a shot to hit in 1 minute, So that's where we want to explore, and we don't have one way of doing it. It depends on a little bit how you are and how you play on the course, what is best to do after a golf shot. But too much analysis, save that for after the round.
Right. Over-analysis leads to paralysis, I guess.
That's what they say.
So give me an update on what's going on with Vision54 down in Scottsdale. You're at Talking Stick Golf Course.
Yes, we are. Yeah, so
and have been for quite a while.
Yeah, I think we were first like 11 years at the Legacy Golf Course here in Phoenix, and then now we're like 12 or 13 years at Talking Stick. So it's working great, and we like to do a lot of our coaching on the course, and we have 36 holes there, so it's really good. But anyway, so it's doing very well, and we have all kinds of different programs for different golfers. But it still amazes us that it's not as common yet to teach and coach the non-technical skills of the game. But we feel through our books, and now we've created more training books, and the interest among other coaches that things are happening, because I think we, along with so many other teachers and coaches, we care about growing the game and making golfers play better. And we just want the view of playing better to be wide enough that, of course, we need to keep developing the technical skills, and so I can hit the bunker shots the way I want to, or putt well, or hit it further, and all of that. But there still is a process of playing the game that often get dismissed or not focused on, and we just think it's too bad. So we just want the fundamentals to be wide enough, so if I improve my swing, I still know how to play on the golf course when I only have one try, and I need to make a decision, and I need to trust my decision, and I need to be athletic. And, so it belongs to the golf fundamentals to learn both the technical and non-technical. And we keep on going now. We've done it for a few decades, but just doing what we can to shift that paradigm so everybody can see it that way. Because I don't know anyone who can disagree with that there is a process to playing the game on the course.
You said that you like to give lessons on the course as opposed to just hitting off of the driving range. We talk about this a lot on this show, have been for decades, and that is that there's a big difference between hitting balls and playing golf.
Yeah, it's like two different sports.
It really is. It really is. Because when you're hitting balls, generally it's flat. It's, if you're hitting on grass, there's probably a lot of sand anyway, because of the way they have to refurbish the grass all the time, redo it. But why is it that you prefer to give your lessons on the course, in-course lessons versus just strictly range lessons?
Well, because the whole point is for everybody who comes to see us is that they want to play better, and some even enjoy it more. So, and we know how a golfer hits on the range is really no indication how they hit it on the golf course. So we're so much more interested in how is their swing, how is their stroke, what happens on the golf course. And when we know that, then we can make more sense of what to do on the practice area. But, even the first day at our golf school, we don't go on the golf course till the afternoon, and we're really careful to keep our mouth shut and not say anything about their swing and before we've actually seen it in action on the golf course. And so it's just like, it's kind of a reality check that the truth is what happens on the golf course. So if I am a coach of the game of golf, I need to observe them on the golf course. So on the golf course, it could be just observing what they do and see what's good and what can be better, from the technique to, how they make decisions and how they stay focused to the finish. Very few on the golf course, I would say few, it's very common on the golf course that their swing gets abrupted because they're so into the outcome, which doesn't happen on the range because it means more. So, and how they react after the shot and, all these things, their pace of play, it's really important for us too. So the reality happens out there, and we want to be coaches to help them. And then that helps us what to do when we practice. And sometimes we go out and they get to explore. Okay, let's try 3 different things to do in your think box to see which one you like, or let's try a couple different things in the play box. So they get to discover, like, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. And being on the golf course is totally different than being on the putting green or the range, because it's more perceived pressure.
Yeah. Another huge advancement that we've had over the decades that we've been doing these, golf simulators have become very, very popular, to the point where we now have a professional level golf simulator league, TGL, which I'm a huge fan of. But how does that impact your instruction? Because people are playing I'm using air quotes for courses, but they're hitting into a screen from a flat spot, like hitting in the range.
So I think it's awesome because it's closer to the real thing.
Mm.
It's still not obviously the same. You don't have the breaks between shots, and many times you see them in simulators and they kind of skip over the think box, and they're still most evaluating performance. They're not evaluating the process. But through the simulators, you can do a lot more good practice and good learning, but you still need to know what to look for if you're going to coach them through the simulators, not just where the ball went or wherever the trajectory and all that. Just couldn't see behind that.
Right. Well, it's also giving you, most simulators, especially things like TrackMan and all these other advances here, they're giving you a lot of data, a lot of information about the ball itself and what it's doing, where it's going. Is that helped you? Or is that something that's just is it an added bonus, or is it an added distraction?
Both. So I think
God, I love talking to you.
all this awesome technology it's brilliantly good, because we're not guessing anymore. We actually get real numbers, real facts, objective yes. And we also have to remember there's an outer reality and inner reality. So what we find, those that overuse it today, if you have juniors that have used it too much, for example, we can be on the golf course and we ask them, okay, tell me the distance to the flag without looking at technology. And they can't see the difference between 50 and 120 yards because they have never needed to train their senses. So if they're going to be a really, really good player, it's about art and science. So the technology is great as long as I still learn to know what does it actually mean to trust a golf shot. What does it still mean to sense a tempo? Because sensing a tempo is an internal experience that I need to know and not just base it on numbers from the outside. Or if I want to be super focused and totally zero in and visualize my ball flight to target, it's like an inner experience. So technology is great as long as I still honor the inner skills that is needed that are more subjective. So if I have a balance of both, it's really good. But many today only go towards technique and technology and dismiss the other part, and then it's never going to be optimal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Since you guys have started coaching, and you were really, I don't want to say you were the first, but highest profile to integrate the whole mind-body connection into golf, the mental elements of it, the thinking part of it, into just swing mechanics, where we come from Ben Hogan's book and we're just talking about the mechanics. And then it started to evolve into mental games, and then, podcasting started happening, and we're talking about the mental game a lot here and others as well. How has that evolved since you've been coaching, the mind-body connection element? Or was it always there and just didn't talk about it much?
Well, I think for the greatest players, it's always been there, but never talked about because it's not as obvious, and you can't measure it, and you can't see it on the screen. So I think among the great coaches and great players, it's been there. But then we've been led to believe that it's only the outer view and technology that really matters. But I think so much has happened, but sometimes I feel they can still be too separate. Okay, here's my technical coach, and then I have this mental coach to help me, but sometimes they're just too separate. I think we as golf coaches, golf teachers, we need to honor that big picture. So the golfers from the beginning always get the mixture. Okay, we're going to work on this. I want you at home in front of your mirror to work on these positions and these drills. But when you go and play golf, we want to help you with how you're going to make a decision, the feel you're going to have during your swing, and so we integrate it into anything we're doing. And that integration is not as solid today yet.
Are you and Lynn, as coaching partners and business partners, do you each have your own specialty, or you each cover both the mental and the physical side of playing golf, or one focuses more on the other?
Well, I would say we totally have 100% the same vision and beliefs about what we're doing and what we think the future needs, and we reflect and talk about it a lot because we want to. Probably Lynn is my biggest critiquer and question what we're doing, and me to her. So we have that. But then I came originally more from the background as a player, having played on tour and all of that. And Lynn has an even stronger background as a technical teacher. So our original backgrounds are a little bit different like that, even though Lynn has still played a lot, and I've, since then also have PGA education, technical education. So Lynn has done more in the past club fitting than I have. So we come from a little different background. And when we coach and the things we developed, so we can know that some players is going to listen stronger to Lynn, and some players might listen stronger to me. So we just need to have no ego involved with that, and realizing that we have two voices, and we have other coaches too, that we have more voices to the same message makes it even better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we couldn't function as a company and with a clear philosophy if we didn't 100% agree on what we're doing and how we're doing it.
So speaking of philosophy, explain why the company is called Vision54.
Yeah, actually when we started our company, we called it Coaching for the Future, and it's still our incorporated name. And because it was coaching for the future, but then many thought we only did coach training. So when the 54 comes from when I, in another lifetime, was head coach of our Swedish national teams. And we started this 54 thinking because many of those Swedish players at that time had very limiting beliefs about what they can do in the future, being from this cold weather country and so far behind so many nations. So the 54 realizing to get them to be a little bit more believing in the future, we asked them, okay, on your home course, the best score in each hole, what have you shot? And actually some have made birdies on every hole at one time or another. So we just brought it up as a future possibility. What would it take in the future to do during the same round? Just let's say it would be possible. So how do you need to swing? How do you need to train? How fit you need to be? We just started going. If, we believe it could happen. We don't know which century it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. We just think it's humanly possible. And let's go towards that. And it's very good for us coaches too, because who do we need to be and what do we need to know to support that process? So the Vision 54 it's not about being disappointed if I don't shoot 54. It's about believing in possibilities and going for it. So it's changed our whole culture. And, obviously Annika Sörenstam is one of the famous one who was part of when we first started this. And she always had that in the back of her mind, striving towards that. And she was the first woman and is the first woman to have ever shot 59. So
amazing. No, you wouldn't be disappointed, like shooting 54, but shooting 55, any golfer would go, I just missed that one putt. I could have had a 50, but I only had a 55.
I know.
It's just the nature of golfers as it is.
Even with 54 said, darn it, I could have made an eagle there on that hole.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen any of what Bryson DeChambeau has done on YouTube with his Break 50 series?
No, I haven't actually.
Do you know about it? Are you familiar with it?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, where he goes and he'll play. I love this concept. Instead of competing against my friends, it's like, let's team up.
Yeah.
Right. And what he does is he gets somebody, they play the front tees and they try to break 50.
Yeah.
Right. And, with Bryson's length and accuracy, they get close, but I don't think they've done it yet.
I think
it's very entertaining. And I've told my friends, I said, let's do this. Yeah. Instead of competing this week, let's partner up, play from a different tee box, closer tee box, and see if we could shoot par.
Yeah, I know.
Combine our scores and see if we can just shoot par. And if we do, then let's try to break 70. Let's, it's like set that goal and be a team.
Yeah. I super like it. And it gives so much more positivity outlook in playing the game that I think is really healthy.
Yeah. So how is the state of the game from your perspective these days? We'll say, let's start with amateur play and we'll go from there. But what is the state of the game from your perspective?
Well, I think it's growing in a really healthy way. But I feel like because of the growth in technology and knowledge about technique and the body swing connection, which is advanced a lot, but we also get many that they get higher level of confusion. Because we look at the amateurs, so we call it the real golfers of the game, they get all these suggestions through technology and technique, but most amateurs, they understand that, but they honestly don't have time to actually practice to make changes that are suggested.
Right.
And they keep saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. But the bottom line is that they have jobs, they have families, they have other things. So many go about things that are accurate, but it's not realistic. They're going to make those changes and get it to function on the golf course because they don't have enough. They don't have the time that the professional player has to make that happen. So I think it's really important to be honest about that. If I don't have those hours to make the changes needed, like what can I still do to my game to play better?
That makes a lot of sense. I think people will take a lesson going, okay, I'm all good now.
Yeah.
And then they don't practice it.
Yeah.
But they may just want to say, what is it that I can do without this amount of practice and still try to improve my game? And I think a lot of that ends up being what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-shot, post-shot.
That's what we're saying. We're seeing like remarkable improvements in players' game and we have like 1-2 day golf school that it's only on course. We don't even go on the range more than warm up. And it's for all those players that never practice anyways. All they do is maybe warm up and they play. So let's do a golf school where we just meet that reality and help them how to still advance their golf games.
So what is the difference between warming up and practicing?
It's a big difference. Because warming up is just to warm up and be ready to play play that day. Practice is usually to improve some skills and I don't want to spend my time doing that when I'm warming up. I want to do things that create confidence. So warming up is, today obviously for many to stretch and warm up the body. But then, we always like golfers to, because our bodies are different every day, depending on how I slept, what I ate, what I've been doing, working out, not working out. I mean, our bodies are always variable. So to hit some shots to making sure my balance is good, if I hit 2 feet together or, 1 foot, but just to access balance. And I hit some shots with slower tempo, medium tempo, faster tempo, just to see what tempo is functional today. Because some days my body is more tired and I need to calm it down. Other days I'm totally alert and my body is sharp and I can swing faster. So it's a lot of calibration and making sure my tension level is good. So my warm-up is more about calibrating and getting my body and mind ready for playing the game of golf. It's not about improving skills, and it's not about like how hit it on the range is going to decide how I'm going to hit it on the course, because everybody knows it who has played golf long enough. I can hit it extremely well in warm-up, and then I go to the first tee and it's like it's gone. Or the opposite, that I feel like not good at all on the range and suddenly comes together on the course. So it's like no indication anyways for what's going to happen. So it's about finding my best way to just warm up and create confidence. That's the only thing that matters in warm up.
Have you had a chance to see TGL?
I have done it a little bit. I have.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's really fun. I like real golf and like major competitions more. But
of course,
I think this is really.
But that's also a long, a major time commitment too to watch and play. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it's been really fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. But so with actual playing and watching it, there's been a lot of controversy about pace of play lately. Any comments? Any suggestions?
Yeah, actually, a lot, because it's something we've cared about for decades, and every golf school, whatever player focus on. And so actually we put together a PDF last week, and we sent out to coaches and magazine. I'll send it to you later on, just because Great. We think sometimes when they focus mostly on how we can, restrict times over the shots and times for the round and all of that. But we think it has to do with coaches need to pay more attention to players' routines for it to be sustainable. And I think that is just skipped over. So we care about it a lot. We did one interview with Global Golf Post about it, and with golf.com too, because they knew that we have been coaching the pace of play and cared about it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And on TGL, they have that 40-second shot clock.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it adds pressure.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched every episode so far, and the only time that the shot clock has come into play is Tiger putting. There was one time he just let it lapse, which was pretty wonderful to see him. I've loved watching Tiger because he's really been vulnerable.
Yeah.
During it. So that's been phenomenal. So you've got a new series of books, Between Shots, which joins Signature Swing and Performance Routine. Between Shots is the new one, right?
Yes.
Can you define, there's an element in there of manage your body, manage your mind, manage your emotions, and then the variability. Let's pick them up a little bit at a time here. Start with manage your body.
Yeah. And first want to say, with the books you mentioned now, the main reason we did it is because our big published books, we've been fortunate they've been going so well, but there is so much material that we couldn't include to make it an easy read book. And there are many exercises we couldn't include because it doesn't fit into a book like that. So we decided to self-publish this. We call them training books, where we can just include those that want to deep dive into Think Box, Play Box, Memory Box. Okay, here you got everything we know about this and all the exercises we know. And for balance, tempo, and tension, the same thing. So the between shot is, and I think is an area that many golfers haven't really even thought about, because, and you can't really practice it on the range, but in golf, we spend 3.5+ hours between shots. So it's a lot of time that time can either help you play better or it really hurts your game. And we say, like, between shots, I mean, the things that matter is that I make sure I spend enough time recharging so I can keep the focus for 18 holes. And that I also make myself ready for the next time I'm going to hit the golf shot. And the third area is that we're always going to be variable. We're never going to be consistent as a human being playing the game of golf. So there is going to be variability. Like suddenly I get tight and tense because it's windy, or I'm thinking too much about work right now, so I'm all scattered suddenly on the backside. I mean, there always can be variability. So between shots is this time to actually be more aware of, is there anything I need to manage right now? Am I getting irritated because pace of play is slow? Or, you need to have a little awareness so you can become a better player, and you can bounce back, and you might look more consistent because you manage the variability. So we think it's a huge area to just find a few things that can really, really help me. So I just want to give that overview first.
Good. All right. Now let's talk about managing your body.
Yeah. So then, when it comes to the body, we know it. And if you play golf and go on the golf cart, I can guarantee you're going to be tight in your hips sitting in the golf court. So many between shots, they might know, every 3 holes or 6 holes, I need to do a little stretching or loosening up or being aware of, I've been sitting a lot now waiting on the tee box or for other players. I need to know, do I need to loosen my shoulders some, or do I need to do this for my hips? You need to have some awareness of how do I keep my body athletic through the round of golf, even though I might be standing still or sitting still. And another thing with the body that is common is my adrenaline level. Sometimes I can get so worked up because maybe I'm on my way to the lowest round ever. Or the opposite, I'm super sluggish because it's slow play, it's early in the morning. So, you know what? I need to walk a little peppier here, maybe jog a little bit. Or I might need the opposite. I need to take deep breath and calm myself down because I'm just too worked up in my body. So, there's so many things. The obvious thing is, what are you drinking and eating between shots to keep that energy level? So
I was going to bring that up.
So
hydration.
Depending on your level of golf and your ambition in golf, between the shots, if I'm only playing golf because I don't care about performance and I'm only here to have fun with my friends, maybe you don't need to do anything. But if I care about playing well, you should just look into, what is something that actually helps my body stay athletic and be good for all 18 holes.
That's an excellent point. It's about if you care or not. Because, there are people out there who they're not focused on their hydration. They're not focused on the nutrition. They're drinking coffee and dehydrating. They're drinking alcohol and really not paying attention. But it's for those podcasts, it's for people who would listen to podcasts about this. They care about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so, that's the beauty of the game, that we can have so many different, we call it spirit of the game, the reason you play the game. Mm-hmm. For those that part of playing the game is that I want to be a good performer, then it's good to check in on this.
And then you have manage the mind and manage the emotions. Those are you have those listed as different elements. And can you explain why?
Yeah, the mind for us is more, both the cognitive part is, am I thinking too far in the future? Am I focusing on the past? Am I scattered? Or am I totally focused on only my shot? Or do I still focus about who is watching me? So it's managing the, direction of my mind and if I can stay focused during the whole swing. And so between shots, it would be for many, some have a tendency, I can have that. I can easily go too far in the future. My iron's better. There are a couple of par fours. It's going to be tough coming up. And bring yourself back. Just feel.
You even get caught up in that.
Yeah, just feel your feet walking here now and, look at the trees and get yourself back to present. Or, some hang out in the past all the time, why? Why did I miss that putt? Or, was an easy wedge shot in. So you're just wasting energy. So it's just doing some exercise and being aware of, am I good at being in charge of where my mind is? And if you're going to be a peak performer in golf, it's a good thing. Because between shots, it can spiral to really bad stuff, being irritated at other players, being irritated with it, all kinds of stuff. So emotions is more am I feeling calm and peaceful and confident, or am I anxious, or I'm frustrated? It's the emotions, and sometimes emotions come from the thoughts I have. And sometimes I just get emotions because I have a memory of missing this shot last week at the same spot, and the emotions start, and then it triggers thoughts. So it's just knowing that if I have too much negative emotions between shots, and it's so good to learn from science, I'm going to lose access to a lot of my abilities. It's just we go more to fight and flight, and I can't afford that. Am I going to be a good performer? So it's recognizing I'm getting frustrated, irritated. Okay, I'm going to go to getting myself to a calmer state, or whatever, more confident state, and use my body maybe to help me and manage that, because the emotions is going to fluctuate. Sure. And I just need to figure out what is it that makes me play really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I see creeping into both the mind element and the emotions element is pace of play, which we talked about a little bit. But how does slow pace of play affect the amateur golfer? And then what's the cure to not let it bother you?
Well, some slow play doesn't affect them at all, because I said, I'm only playing with my friends and I like this golf course and I paid a lot of money to play it, so I wanted to take 6 hours. So they're probably
nobody does.
No, but anyway, so it does, because if you play with players that you feel are very, very slow, it can get you really irritated. You start having all this self-talk and emotions, and it's going to get your body tight, or you can start rushing and making up for them being slow. Mm-hmm. I mean, that happens a lot,
all the time.
Well. So I think every golfer needs to know how long time their routine takes. The preparation, the think box, and the play box, I think is really important. And, we have a goal to keep it 30 seconds and under. And it's just that the time that the LPGA is used for a long time, that you have an average of 30 seconds per shot. And I don't think we need more than that. But many today, especially in the think box, because of so much more technology, that there's so many ways of measuring the distance. You might have it on your watch, you might have, your Bushnell glasses, you have sprinkler heads, you have screens on your cart. There can be like a zillion different ways of doing that. And there are many systems how to check green reading and all of these things. But then players try to do all of that all the time. And it's like, it doesn't work. Yeah. It's not sustainable, because they usually lose access to their own instinct and feel over time, because there's so much up in the numbers, and they get, you get tired and down pace of play. But we don't know anyone who wants to be slow. They have just never been aware of it or coached how to do it different, so they can
manage it,
so they can be more efficient, but also play as good or better doing it in a more simplified way.
Right.
For example, we can have many that, we go on the golf course and they start having, 2, 3, 4 practice swings. We never saw that on the range, but suddenly on the course, and they do 2, 3, 4 practice swings. So, after one hole, you should ask, okay, so what's the intention for those practice swings? And then depending on the answer, just try to help them sort it out, and how can you actually accomplish that in one? And, we usually say if their player shooting 90, if you also make 3 practice swing, that's 90 plus 270.
It's a lot of swings.
Anyway, but they haven't thought about that. Or some think a practice swing, it needs to be perfect before I can move on. And like that belief is like never good. But what I'm saying is there's this area that most golfers haven't really reflected on, and they haven't had any coaching to help them sort it out and make it more functional on the golf course. So I think it's really, really important. And I said, let's try for 3 holes. You can get a feel for the swing and move your body, but let's just not do any practice swings, just to see what it would be like. And then some discover wow, I like that better. Or some realize, it's good, but I just want something a little bit. So we just need to work it out.
Yeah, and I think that if you start practicing your own think box, play box, that you don't need, as long as you do it consistently, you shouldn't have to be self-conscious about feeling like you're holding up the group, because if they see you're doing your routine on the first, second hole, first 4 or 5 shots, that's your rhythm. And you don't have to be self-conscious about it. People will start accepting it's like, okay, that's his pace of play.
Well, as long as it doesn't take too long.
Yeah, of course.
But I want to say another thing about the routine that is really important for us.
Sure.
The only thing that matters about this, we talk about the pre-shot routine now, is that I made a decision and I have an internal go signal.
Mm-hmm.
Go, whatever that is. So that's what's important. It's not that I always do the exact same outer routine. Because what I'm saying is, I normally don't make practice swing, but if I have a shot around the green, or I'm going to have a certain lie, I might make a practice swing, whatever, to get the feel, but it's just to get the go signal. So I can have a structure, but it is with flexibility, because why I'm saying this is because we can have many more elite players that have been taught, if they do the same exact routine from the outside looking, it's always going to work. And we know that's not true, because it's what you feel inside that needs to feel real awesome. I got this. I know what I'm doing, and I feel what I'm doing. I'm ready to go. So sometimes that can happen in different ways. But if I still feel like I still need to step off this path, or I still need to do practice swing because I'm supposed to, I might be too late. I lost that go signal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You mentioned a few minutes ago that your books, these 3 books in this series, are self-published. Where can we find them?
On Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
Oh, great. Oh, so it's not just on your website, but it is available Amazon. Yeah. And then the website, vision54.com.
You got it.
And check out the schools if you want some of the best instruction the world has to offer. You should definitely check out Vision54, because Lynn and Pia are superheroes in the game improvement world. Absolutely.
That's really nice of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Again, it's great to talk to you, and it's always a joy to talk to you, and I really value your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fred. And thanks for all you do for the game.